Guys, welcome back. Um, as you know, I made that video the other day, and I know certain subjects make people uncomfortable, but the upshot of negotiations with Odin and Odin's negotiations can sometimes be a dream of Odin sieging your castle. Um, and that's not a metaphor, it was actually a siege. And I'm getting left, Rebecca. The upshot of it is if you have a close relationship with God, sometimes what they want changes. And it's up to you whether or not you want to honor what they want now. It's kind of like if you sat down and wrote a business contract, and it sounds mercenary, but it's this channel. And all of a sudden, your business partner, so many years into the relationship, decides, I know what I agreed on, but this is what I really want. You can either tear up the old contract and, renegotiate a new contract, which is what we're trying to be in the process of doing now. Or, I got, yeah. Or you can try to stay to the original contract, which when the other party is a god, it's not going to work well. Loki wants to renegotiate his contract, so to speak. And you don't have to have contracts with your gods, but this is the most useful term I can think of. Odin is definitely renegotiating his contract, and it's weird. Odin's a god of communication. I do communication for a living, and yet we can misunderstand each other on a moment by moment basis. And Odin won't always share his reasons for asking for something, so I'm likely to jump to the worst possible conclusion. So we're negotiating on things, and that's where we are now. It can be a challenge working with gods, especially when you get two that are as challenging as Loki and Odin together. And if Loki and Odin had their way, it would be half Loki territory, half Odin territory, and basically that's kind of like the new contract they're working on. And who they like can be here and who they don't can't be here. Now you say that doesn't sound fair. We're in contract negotiations. I keep demanding I want what I want, and they keep demanding I want what I want. And somebody eventually has to give. Somebody eventually has to say, that is totally negotiable. I will give in or I'll meet you halfway. But if we both keep sitting on opposite ends of the table and I'm saying, no, I want to talk to all the gods, and they're saying, no, you will talk to the gods we tell you can, we're never going to get anywhere. We finally came to the point where we realized that. So we're starting to try to start a fresh round of negotiations. They know I've had it to the point, they know that if I'm repeatedly going back to the Greek gods that I've negotiations that broke down, and I'm to the point where I'm like, why should I negotiate with you? Because it seems like we have a negotiation and you get what you want, and then suddenly you don't want it and you're reversing it and you're saying have what you want and I'm having what I want, and then you get mad because we're having really bad communication problems. And it's just a thing of, I think Odin's feelings towards everything changed. And Odin being Odin won't always tell you, you'll get to guess. And Loki's changed, and because I kept asking him, what happened to the International House of Awesome? What happened to that? You guys used to be so on board with that. In fact, I think you liked it because it took pressure off of you. They don't want it anymore. That's not permissible anymore. And they're both very strong-willed deities. If Odin or Loki decides you belong to them, there's precious little you can do about it. And I've noticed the other gods just scatter like the wind. Last night, at least it felt like Lord Hades was giving me a place of rest and a place to recover and to think about things. By this morning, by those dreams you have right before you wake up, Odin had already done a breach and come in, and Loki had come in, and it was like the Greek gods had just scattered. It feels like they're all here right now, so it's this kind of tentative, nebulous thing where we have to sit down and do negotiations. I think Odin's willing to negotiate and have an International House of Awesome, but there's something he wants to put on the table that's probably going to surprise the hell out of me. So sometimes you have to do that. You have to sit down and redo the paperwork, and we're in the middle, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but we're in the middle of renegotiating the relationships, and that sounds mercenary, but sometimes you have to be. It depends on the gods. Some gods are like really sweet. Like If you're a Christian watching the channel, you don't have to worry about going into renegotiation with Jesus or something. It would be more like Renew Your Friendship Day. With Odin and Loki, it's very much, okay, this is where I'm no longer getting what I want, and I've completely changed my mind, and now I want this thing now, and you have to go back into negotiations, because holding up your own contract, I could tell you from experience, holding up your old contract and saying, no, this is the contract we have, doesn't do any good, because Odin's not going to honor this old contract when he no longer feels like it. He conversely will sometimes, but then he's like, no, I don't feel like it. I'm the old father. You can't tell me what to do. Look, he's the same way. Hear the pizza song back here. Baby, we don't have pizza. Eh. So, we're doing okay. It's just we're in the worst part of the negotiations. Odin can be very not double dealing. He can be very he might have given you something, but he'll use that same thing against all the other gods, and then you'll come around and go, well, why haven't you given me it? And he'll be like, oh, just give me time, give me time. And so he knows it's very precarious. It could go either way. I don't want to lose Odin and Loki, and they know it, and they know I love them, and they know I'm happy when they're here, but at the same time, I have a feeling there's something Odin wants that he's not telling me, and something really, really big, more big than just Odin or Loki or something like that. It's even more than that. And I'm like, what exactly the hell is this, old man? Because you better be ready to put something fantastic on the table. It feels huge, whatever it is. Yeah, I got any impasse out there, feel free. But I'm like, this is really, really big. Whatever the hell this is that he wants, I know it's huge. It's Loki warned me years ago. He says he will keep asking you for things, and he'll ask you for tiny things and tiny things and tiny things will soften you up, and then suddenly he'll slam something big on the table. So you watch out. So sometimes Loki has your back, kind of. But I figured I'd catch you guys up, and I will. Goddamn clock. I will see you later. Bye bye.